So now we go to Poland. In the weeks since February the 24th, 2022, we have witnessed a level of aggression, death, violence, suffering and destruction not seen in Europe since World War II. The Russian invasion of Ukraine has caused a mass exodus of women, children and the elderly to neighbouring countries. Within just 4 weeks, over 3.5 million people have fled beyond Ukraine's borders, with Poland receiving the largest portion of these. The SMA province in Poland has responded by opening 2 of their houses to accommodate refugees. Their aim is to provide them with shelter for as long as necessary and a place where they will feel safe and welcome.
Dès le départ de la guerre jusqu'à aujourd'hui,
from the start of the war up to now, we have received 2.3 million refugees to Poland. It is Poland that has welcomed the majority of those fleeing war, and they have been relocated to different places, in homes or in big centres like ours. Then, for those refugees, on the recommendation of Polish province of the Society for African Missions, we have decided to welcome them here into our homes we own here in Poland.
En Pologne.
Les grandes vagues de réfugiés de l'Ukraine qui fuient la guerre.
We welcome here the great waves of refugees from Ukraine fleeing the war. We see what is happening in the stations of the different cities of Poland and also the border. Seeing that, we're also trying to welcome and to help the refugees. We follow 4 steps in our ways of helping out as Society of African Missions in Poland. First, there was the decision to welcome the refugees to Borzęczyny and Piwniczna-Zdrój. We had to transform our houses to accommodate the refugees, find common rooms, especially for them, and at the same time places to do laundry and also places capable of accommodating people on a long-term basis. Because normally we welcome groups, especially from those different parishes of Warsaw, Krakow, from different parts of Poland. In these parishes they are welcomed for weekends, for short periods. Instead, people who come here now are welcomed for long duration. After the decision and the transformation of our centre, we started step by step with different groups. I went to the central station, to different places. I made contact with people at the border, with groups like Caritas Polska and with Caritas from different places of Poland, looking for people who needed our help. We made the decision to help, especially with mothers and children. We even had pregnant women with us, so they could find rest in our homes, so they could feel peace and feel welcomed. Above all, after the stress of leaving their homeland, their husbands, their members of their families who had to stay behind in the Ukraine, who had to fight in the war for the liberty of Ukraine. It is very moving to see families torn apart. Families whose husbands staying behind in Ukraine, seeing their wives and children in Poland. After that, we move on to the stage of organising their life here in Poland. Children go to primary school, and secondary school children continue to follow courses online provided from the Ukraine. This is well organised by the Ministry for Education in Ukraine. Here we welcome about 80 people, mothers and children. It's time for lunch. We give our guests, our refugees, 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We work with the staff here in our SMA centre. Here's the cook, Matthew, who is helping us. It has always been his role. So what do you have today? There's always soup, and also what the Ukrainians like for meals, kartush, that is, potatoes. There are many people who have gone out to get their PPS numbers, the PESEL, to the local public administration, so they're absent because of that. Our government is trying to help refugees by giving them access to education and health. But to have that, one needs to have a number, what we call a PESEL. That is why many of them are absent today. When the mothers are busy here with the laundry, there's a place here, a kind of nursery for the children, with many games for them to play. And it's the benefactors who have brought this to us. Now we're in our common room, where there's also a place to relax, to have coffee, tea. At the same time, there's a playground, a place for older children to have fun and play.
Les voilà.
Food is now a challenge in Poland because there are so many trucks sent every day by Caritas and also the government, many of which are sent to the Ukraine. At the market, it's difficult finding food for the refugees. We can always buy, and that is why we ask for financial assistance. That we have, of course, so far received. Thank you for what you do for us, because with this money, we can buy food.
Members of the SMA community living in houses in Ireland decided that they wanted to contribute, so they organised and contributed to collections among themselves and the house staff, and the proceeds are being donated to the Red Cross and other refugee support groups. Also, the people in our SMA parish, Wilton, while experiencing initial reactions of revulsion, shock and disbelief at war, decided that they wanted to help in practical ways.
Here in Wilton Parish, the people have been very generous in responding to charitable appeals. When the situation in Ukraine broke, it was clear that there was a serious matter arising, and we put it to them about doing what we can. The people responded very generously with money and with items of clothing and food and medical stuff. We managed to get some of it out to Poland, and also the money we'd now realised we could support the SMA fathers with this.
So we were heartbroken when we saw children, families uprooted, and the bombardment that was going on with the reports on the TV. So we decided that we would actually try and reach out and support the people, do the best we possibly could. We networked with our own community here and advertised to see would people come and support us. We were totally overwhelmed by the response. We connected with young lads that were Polish drivers, and they had said that they would actually carry the stuff for us. So within 3 days we had a full container and 4 vans to travel to Poland, to the border.
These donations from the Irish SMA communities and the SMA parishes will go some way towards covering the cost of the requirements of refugees in the coming months.